Jai Sri Ram, friends. I welcome you to yet another episode of my video series on what they do not tell you. What I mean by saying they is all those people who come to TV and give discourses on religious, spiritual topics, answer questions, as also the people, religious gurus, they conduct discourses at public places with a lot of their followers. I don't know why they do not tell, but some of the things that are important things, in my humble opinion, they do not reveal to general public. That I have taken it upon me to inform you, all of you. This is the second installment or video on the things not revealed to you from the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is a very popular book in India now. Millions of copies are sold every year, and there will not be a person of religious inclination who cannot quote even a single sloka from Bhagavad Gita. It is the most quoted, most read book. In this book, there is one sloka. It is in chapter 11. That is the Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga, in which Lord Krishna has shown the complete form, the universe, form of the universe, or the universal form to Arjuna. And in this, he, at the end of the chapter, the last sloka, Lord Krishna says, Mat karma kurun mat paramo mat bhakta sangavarjitaha nirvaira sarva bhuteshu yah samameti pandava. And Adi Shankaracharya, Shankara Bhagavad Pada has said, if a person can understand this sloka and implement it, he has understood the entire Bhagavad Gita. It intrigued me for some time. Why this single sloka? What does he say? Mat karma kurun, do my work. Mad bhakta, be devoted to me. Sangha varjitha, be shorn of all desires. Nirvaira sarva bhuteshu, have enmity to none of the bhutas, none of the life forms. Yes, Amameti Pandava, he is very close to me, he is very dear to me. What is problematic in this? What the first thing, mat karma krut, do my work. What is the work? What is God's work? That's a big paradox, isn't it? Standing in a street corner and distributing pamphlets glorifying the deeds of God, is it God's work? Or get onto a stage or make a video like me and extol the virtues of God, is that God's work? Or help all the people, go out and help them, is that God's work? Or become a leader and try to do good things, is that God's work? What is God's work? And what is being devoted to mean? And this, I have been listening to the people who venture to talk about on this. One guru said, Mat karma krut, you do what is stated in chapter 3 Karma Yoga, and Mad Bhakta, just follow the chapter 12, those to explain you. Sangha Varjita, just be desireless, no desires. What is difficulty in understanding this? Very easy to say and get away from people who are not knowledgeable. Once you read Bhagavad Gita in a careful manner, close manner, you will understand. When you read chapter 3 and Karma Yoga, there is nowhere there what work a person has to do. It is only there how a person has to do work. That is sincerely and without expecting any return. No, that is not what mat karma krut. And Bhakti Yoga, you read the chapter 12, it has just 20 slokas. You read 20 slokas, you will see that bhakti is not defined anywhere. What sort of a bhakta, devotee, is dear to the God? That's all what it says. But what is bhakti? Unless I know what is bhakti or devotion, how can I exhibit it? How can I practice it? How can you practice it? Bhakti is another paradox. Mat karma krut, that is also a paradox. Did he give any inclination or pointers to what one should do in Bhagavad Gita? Yes, he did. In third chapter, one sloka is there. Nitam kuru karmatvam karma jayohya karmanaha sharira yatra pichate na prasiddhyedha akarmana. Nitam kuru karmatvam. This half line is what he says. Niyatam kuru karmatvam. Do the assigned duty. Who is assigning the duty? Here, is it the boss that you have joined an employment? Or is it your parents? Or is it your wife or children who are assigning you work? None of these are assigning the work. God has assigned the work. What is the work that He has assigned? When did God meet you to give that work? That's all questions that we have. God has never given me any work. We can't be far wrong any farther than this. God has given you birth. If you do not have one thing that you are completely out of control, that is your birth. Whether you should be born a male or a female, first of all a human being or an animal or a bird or a plant form, whether in the sea, inside the water or outside the water, in the air, visible or invisible, nothing is in our hand. Even if you are born as a human being, would you be born as a particular race? Would you be born as an Indian or a European? Which is there? We do not know. We do not know what birth that we get. That's completely out of control. Whether you should be born in a poor home or a rich home or a middle class home, whether you should be born in a hospital normally or through a cesarean operation, where you are born, everything, nothing, which language you will speak as mother tongue, nothing is in our hand. Birth is one thing that God has complete control over it, and we have absolutely no control. So through birth, He is defining the work you have to do, the work that is appropriate to your birth, depending on the caste and depending on the vocation of that caste. Then you may ask me the question, you are talking about caste. How about those people who are born outside the caste? Like other religions, they do not have caste. What will happen to them? What is the work that they do? For the people born outside the work, outside the caste, what work they should do? See, according to Garuda Purana, which talks of matters from death to birth, as well as Manusmriti, as well as Mahabharata. In all these things, the matters of death to birth are discussed. They all say one thing. There is a specific order of birth that everybody follows. Every soul follows. The first birth is inside the water as bacteria. From that you graduate slowly. Once you graduate out of the water, you come to the land and be born as the plant life. In the plant life also there is an order. And once you complete all the births of the plant life, you become birds, flying birds. And from birds you become animals with the horizontal spine. From animal you graduate to a human birth. And that human birth, first birth, is outside the caste. And then you come into the caste as a female in the Shudra caste. Thereupon you graduate into male Shudra, female Vaishya, male Vaishya, female Kshatriya, female Brahmin, male Brahmin. And you can attain nirvana or get out of the circle of birth and death from this male Brahmana birth. Others go to heaven for whatever good karma they have performed. They'll go to the heaven, paradise, enjoy life and come back. The only one that can escape the life cycle of birth and death has to be born in the Brahmin. So those people born outside the caste must perform the work, whatever they can do, and then graduate to the caste birth. So this is what work you have to do. And devoted to is a concept. You are devoted to God. What does that mean? The rules of conduct must be implemented in toto, appropriate for your caste and the stage of life. Varna and ashrama, two things. These two have to be implemented. So friends, this sloka is very important. You have to really ponder over it. You will have to contemplate on it, and only then you can understand the concepts. Mat karma kurun, mat paramo, mat bhakta, sangavarjita, nirvaira sarva bhuteshu. No enemies. Others may treat us as enemy, but there is no enemy for us. That's very important. All these have to be practiced. If you know this, if you can practice this one sloka, yes, you are a very enlightened soul. I would not say you don't have to read anything else. If you don't read anything else, this one sloka itself will be very difficult for you to understand. So friends, till we meet again with another aspect which they do not reveal in the next video. In the meanwhile, may God bless you all. Sakala Sanmangalani Bhavantu. Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.